Fire! Young lion, young lions. All praise due to the Most High. Here we are, another wonderful Sabbath. Shabbat Shalom. We're gonna get right into it. We have about 25 minutes to break this thing down and keep it as simple as possible. Because with us over here, we don't try to confuse anybody. We try to we do our best to try to communicate with everybody. Anybody who wants to seek truth, you're at the right channel. So we're going to get right into it. This episode is going to be called Law or Die. I know it sounds harsh. I know it sounds troubling, Law or Die, but this one got to be about Law or Die. And for Law or Die, what better book than to give the best description of Law or Die than Deuteronomy. So we're going to go right into Deuteronomy. We ready? Mm-hmm. All right. Here we go, family. Bring it out. You sure you don't got it?
Yeah.
How are you
doing? All right, family, we're going to go ahead and start off with Deuteronomy 28, verse 15. However, if you do not obey the Lord your God and do not carefully follow his commands and decrees.
Okay, now, if you do not follow the Most High's laws and decrees. Sorry, I had to turn my mic on. If you do not follow the Most High's laws and decrees, this is what's going to happen to you. So when the title says Law or Die, we're saying obey the laws that were given to us, the Israelites, or death, spiritual death, physical death, however you want to break it down, figuratively, literally, death is coming your way. Might not be now, might not be tomorrow, might not be next week, but best and believe it's going to happen. Okay? Finish that. Bring that up.
All right. I am giving you today, all these curses will come on you and overtake you. You will be cursed in the city and cursed in the country.
Cursed in the city and cursed in the country. Cursed in the city and cursed in the country. I mean, we could just look around and see how we live in the city. A lot of us can't even make it to the countries. And then when we do make it to the countries, we don't have no skills of agriculture or knowing how to use any of the tools, the machinery. So that means the actual work would be too hard with our physical hands because we're so used to what? Public transportation when we come from the cities. I know people that, I don't know about y'all, but I know a lot of brothers and sisters who live in the cities all their life and they don't even have a driver's license and they literally they 50.
Right.
Like I've seen that. You know what I'm saying? Just to show you, maybe that's some hoods, a hood type stuff or whatever, but call it what you want to call it, but I've seen that. So, cursed in the cities, cursed in the countries, and when you do see us in the countries, we struggling. Right. And I'm going to tell you from my own experience, when you do get even in the countries, it's like you might be one of the only black people, so-called black people in the area, or just your family. Oh, we got a caller. You gonna tell him to call back? Somebody from Brooklyn.
Scam call.
Scam call. Okay. Yeah, a lot of those. A lot of them scam calls. Be careful of them scam calls. So as I was saying, help me out.
Living in the country.
All right, so you're in the country, so you surrounded by Edomites. So even there, you surrounded by Edomites. So you try to assimilate yourself. You can't even, this is where you get a lot of your coonish from. Your old, get them, boy type mentality, Sambo mentality. A lot of those country Negroes surrounded by Edomites, so they try to, become more like, the Edomites, be more like them, And those be the first ones, you know, to turn, to betray you. You know what I mean? A lot of times based on how much they've cleaved to the master or to the Edomite, nation. You know what I mean? So, cursing the country, man. Like, I know some country Negroes who, they didn't want to be black because being in the country. They try to do everything they could do, to be white or to be more, or to act like, the so-called white nation. So these curses in the city and curses in the country, and they're all going to affect you, whether it's stress, anxiety, drugs, alcohol, whatever it may be, it's going to affect you, and it's all going to lead to death. Keep it, bring it out.
Your basket and your kneading trough will be cursed. The fruit of your womb will be cursed, and the crops of your land, and the calves of your herds, and the lambs of your flocks. You will be cursed when you come in, and cursed when you go out. The Lord will send on you curses, confusion, and rebuke in everything you put your hand to, until you are destroyed and come to sudden ruin because of the evil you have done in forsaking him.
Now you hear that? Until you're destroyed and ruined. Until you're destroyed and ruined. Like, I mean, not until you're uplifted and you're exalted. No, until you're destroyed and ruined. The curses is based on you following the laws and commandments. It's not based on you having grace, you having faith without no works. These curses are based on, if you have faith with no works, this curse is going to come down upon you. That's a fact. Ask T.D. Jakes. Ask Creflo Dollar. And a lot of other brothers that teach that doctrine, faith without works. All you have to do is have faith. You don't have to follow the law. Didn't Creflo Dollar's daughter get him locked up, call the police on him because he wouldn't let her go out? And she's probably stepped to him and said, Dad, you said faith, I had to have faith with no law, so why I got to follow your orders? There's no law. All I got to do is Saturday or Sunday wake up and repent for my sins going out Saturday night. God doing God knows what.
Right.
That's what you're telling them. So you can't have it both ways. Can't have it both ways. Preachers, you know what I mean? Pastors, priests, whatever, and that goes back to that lukewarm scripture. Can't be lukewarm. Go ahead, bring it out. Keep going.
The Lord will plague you with diseases until he has destroyed you from the land you are entering to possess. The Lord will strike you with wasting disease, with fever and inflammation, with scorching heat and drought, with blight and mildew, which will plague you until you perish.
We know that happened already to the Gad tribe, the so-called Native American. During the Christopher Columbus Crusades and all that type of stuff coming over, to the Americas. And all that, the disease, syphilis, and all that.
But we see that today.
And you still see it now, right? You still see it now, and this is another thing, about the laws. That's why it says don't mix with the other nations, which is a law. We're talking about law or die, right? One of the main laws of the laws is don't mix with other nations unless you're in a position. Let me tell you something about the scriptures. The scriptures is all about order. It's about living amongst things in harmony, because we already know the Creator, the Most High, Yahweh is all about order. We can see that just by how he puts things together. So he knows that you're going to have to work with other things, but there's an order to things. And in these scriptures, it tells you the order when it comes to this delivery is the Israelites, the Jews first. It's telling you that the Israelites will be rule the planet in righteousness, and if you don't have a problem, listen, if you want to live a righteous life, you shouldn't have a problem. Right. Whoever rules righteously, whether they look like you or don't look like you. But we know that the Most High chose a certain people to rule, so because that's His choice, it's going to look like me. Okay, it's not right, So. And just based on that fact that he said it's going to look like me, that's what we got to do. That's what's going to have to be done. You know, keep going with that. Bring it up.
The sky over your head will be bronze, the ground beneath you iron.
Oh, what that sound like? I know some brothers don't know. That sound like a city. That sound like a city.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that also sounds like for a lot of the brothers, and now the sisters are going at a more rapid race than the brothers. It also sounds like a prison cell, jail bars. It's metal and concrete.
Right.
Okay, and that certainly is feels like death. You know, being alive in a casket. Okay, bring it out.
The Lord will turn the rain of your country into dust and powder. It will come down from the skies until you are destroyed. The Lord will cause you to be defeated before your enemies. You will come at them from one direction, but flee from them in seven. And you will become a thing of horror to all the kingdoms on earth. Your carcasses will be food for all the birds and the wild animals.
Just to expound on the part where it states it's talking about. Go backwards about two sentences, where it talks about the other nations.
The Lord will cause you to be defeated before your enemies. You will come at them from one direction, but flee from them in seven, and you will become a thing of horror to all the kingdoms on earth.
Now, even though, I'm going to say this, even though hip-hop has really kind of helped a lot of the, from a couple places I've been, that I wouldn't think hip-hop was live, because it's not, you know, it's helped a lot of the so-called, I'm not going to say help, because clearly the hip-hop culture is not a culture of prosperity for the nation. It's a spirit of individual spirit. That it deals with individuality and me, and you know, the whole me spirit. But nonetheless, it says, you know, most of the time when you see us on the news, they always depict us, get the most ignorant one of us, or they just, or you know, or it's always the black did this, the black did that. You know, even when the police shoot us, we almost look like we're the victims. We almost make like we're the guilty ones.
Right.
You know, so, and they blast, and they put this thing all around the world. All nations see this. They all on the internet. You know, the powers that be, they put that all around the world. And this is why it's so important also to do these videos. And this is one of the reasons why we chose to start doing these videos, you know, for our children and, you know, and everything like that, because we know that the narrative, we want to help control some of our own narrative.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And for too long, this medium, like the media, has been used to make us look like just what it says right there. You know, okay, what's the word they use exactly?
Horror.
A horror to the you know, well, that's this version.
Terror.
A terror to the entire planet. Terror. To all the kingdoms, and everywhere we go, as you can see, we're treated like, you know, it's this below, you know, thing. You go to South America, you're gonna see it. You know, you go to Africa, you know, where you go. You know, I mean, wherever you go, you see it's the same thing. You know, you go across the country from the East Coast to the West Coast to the South. You know, you find a couple of black people in the North. Detroit, you're going to see it. You know what I mean? New York, you're going to see it. You know, so you see it. You know, it's not even something. Thank God the scriptures help confirm, so you don't think you're crazy.
Right.
You know, like the scriptures actually help you not know you're not crazy, because if something that the President of the United States puts his hands on and swears on, whether I know, and I'm not saying they keep the laws and commandments, but obviously the book it represents truth, so that's why they do it, because they want to give the perception that they're telling the truth. So that's why they use it. They could use any book, but they use this one. You know, so continue with that. Go ahead.
Your carcasses will be food for all the birds and the wild animals, and there will be no one to frighten them away. The Lord will afflict you with the boils of Egypt and with tumors, festering sores, and the itch.
Now we know. Woo! Now we know. That's a lot going on right there. You know what I mean? We know that, you know, I hate to laugh about it.
Can I finish that?
Good, finish that.
From which you cannot be cured.
So which you cannot be cured. So
start with the boils.
The boils, I just, and I'm gonna take you through that. There was a brother that I know who was well, I had somebody in the school, and they was telling me their brother, who was a homosexual, was coming down with boils all over. All over his body, and he don't know what to do with it. He go to the doctor, and the doctors do, which is another sin, going to their doctors. A lot of us don't talk about that.
Right.
Even some of the old times don't talk about the sin of trusting their doctors to deliver our children. All that sin, whether we're in captivity or not. I get it. We're in captivity. We should want everything. However, the Most High gave us dietary laws,
right.
and He gave us dietary laws and dietary guidelines that don't require a doctor, right? It don't require a doctor, and a lot of us fall short of that all the time. Like, we'll do everything, but when it comes to our life, that's when we immediately break down. Oh, Lord, I trust you all the way until I have a heart attack. Then I got to go to the doctors, and I'm taking these pills that the doctor's taking.
Right.
Or the sister, she doing her whole thing the whole way until until them tumors in her uterus, which is a huge problem right now in Israel. When tumors in her uterus show up, next thing you know, she at the doctor's, and he's telling her to take this, that, and the third. Instead of, what happened to the scripts? What happened to the see, that's what I'm saying with these laws. You want to just follow. Right. Not only that, but a lot of them, they follow. See, because in the Ten Commandments, it doesn't say be a vegetarian. It doesn't say be a vegetarian. It doesn't say eat foods that are not acidic.
Right.
It doesn't say eat base food. But in the whole scriptures, it talks about how to eat. That's why we're trying to tell you that the laws are more than just 10 commandments.
Right.
The laws are all the situations, and the commandments are all the situations in the scriptures, and the things that the Most High, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai talk about, and the disciples, the angels, whoever's speaking about it, they're the ones in all the books. These are the commandments. The commandments are the principles of life. For you as Israel, the chosen nation to live for eternity. These are the laws and commandments for you to live for eternity. Everybody else, you know what I'm saying? I say F everybody else. These are your laws. Forget about all the other nations. They fall in line, hey, more power to them. That's another thing. Y'all, I hear a lot of Israel beef over, they going back and forth over, can the other nations get deliverance, or can they not deliverance?
Why are you worried about that? Worry about just pride. Worry about your nation.
The one thing that the Most High and Yahweh Shai stated was He came for the lost of Israel. Right. He says that enough times.
Right. But that's our problem. We still a slave.
Right.
We worried about the other nation. They're not worried about us.
Right. And that's so crazy. And I don't think we even realize how crazy that is. And I gotta talk to you daughters of Sarah, because a lot, you daughters, the daughters of Zion, because a lot of y'all ought to be the first ones to cleave to your master. And it's just very you don't understand. Excuse me. You don't understand how strong of a weapon that is for our enemies to use against Israel in a whole. And we really need y'all to wake up. And whatever I can do, however the Most High uses me to help y'all wake up, whether it's this platform or any other platform, I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. Bring it up.
The Lord will afflict you with madness, blindness, and confusion of mind. At midday you will grope about like a blind person in the dark. You will be unsuccessful in everything you do. Day after day you will be oppressed and robbed with no one to rescue you. You will be pledged to be married to a woman, but another will take her and rape her. You will build.
Let's talk about that one right there, because I know in a couple books it's different. Right. This one say rape. You got, what does yours say?
You shall betroth a wife, but another man will violate her.
Right. But you know what? We could say rape, because this so-called white man, that's what he did. He raped a lot of our wives. A lot of Adam's wives, a lot of Eves he raped. Yeah, and this also for the sisters to let y'all know who cleave to them, who sleep, who are laying in the bed with some of them. You know, a lot of y'all was raped, and I'm not saying this to get y'all upset or, you know, to beat up y'all white man or, you know, or starting, you know, starting starting racial, you know, warfare. But I'm just keeping it. That's just me telling you what happened. You know, keeping the facts. You know, they raped a lot of the white women. So even this version is still telling the truth. It's not lying. You know what I'm saying? But the thing that this curses is talking about, excuse me, which did come true. The ones that's really the worst part of this is when Israel does this, right? We expect this from our enemy to rape and betroth our wives and all that, but when we do it amongst each other, that's where like whoa, you know. And not only that, that's what you ever heard the saying, if you want to destroy a nation, you destroy it from the inside out. You weaken it from the inside first. That's how you take down a nation. I'm not talking about taking down one man. I'm talking about taking down an entire nation. You weaken it from the inside out. All right, so you got something?
Okay.
Let's finish.
Well, we don't listen. As I said, Ezekiel, we don't listen, you know. So the Most High knows that. Yeah. Ezekiel.
Go ahead with that. Let's see what you find.
You will build a house, but you will not live in it. You will plant a vineyard, but you will not even begin to enjoy its fruits. Your ox will be slaughtered before your eyes, but you will eat none of it. Your donkey will be forcibly taken from you and will not be returned. Your sheep will be given to your enemies, and no one will rescue them. Your sons and daughters will be given to another nation, and you will wear out your eyes watching for them day after day, powerless to lift a hand.
Now, they see that right there? We already know that our sons and daughters were sold into slavery. I was actually in Ghana at the Deming mines. Hold on, excuse me. That's the gold mines. That's a whole nother topic. At the shores are where they kept the dungeons, where they kept the slaves, the Jews, and the Israelites that were being shipped over here. And just to tell y'all the spirit of the place, the Africans didn't really get the emotional tie and that came with, like, they didn't understand. They didn't understand. And I'm looking at it, and at that time I'm looking at it like what's like, this is odd. It seemed like they would, if they've been through the same thing we've been through, they would understand what the emotional, you know, how this can be an emotional time for people. You know, so but they didn't. And which, you know, just further goes on to, you know, dealing with the laws and commandments as far as dealing with your own nation. Because dealing with your own nation really deals with is the everything. See, when the Most High is talking, he's talking. He could say something to one person, and that one person he's talking to, it'll be something that also a mass of people could use to benefit themselves, right? So he could talk on a micro level and a macro level, but say the same thing. It doesn't matter what's good for an individual is good for a nation. Right. It's pretty much what's he saying. So, but I want to get back to this right here. The Deuteronomy. Go ahead, hit that up. Bring
your sons and daughters.
Yeah, bring that up right there.
Your sons and daughters will be given to another nation, and you will wear out your eyes watching for them day after day, powerless to lift a hand. A people that you do not know will eat what your land and labor produce, and you will have nothing but cruel oppression all your days. The sights you see will drive you mad. The Lord will afflict your knees and legs, with painful boils that cannot be cured, spreading from the soles of your feet to the top of your head. The Lord will drive you and the king you set over you to a nation unknown to you or your ancestors. There you will worship other gods, gods of wood and stone. You will become a thing of horror, a byword, and an object of ridicule among.
Right. That said a lot. Let me just go back to the wood and stone. We all know the cross is wood and the Kaaba stone and Mecca is Mecca stone. So they telling us like this is why and people, this is what made me like really have to say hold up. Because I'll tell you, I'll be one of the first ones at one point in time to tell you that the scripture, the Bible, was a white man's Bible. I would have been one of the first ones, and I have no problem, speaking that. A lot of brothers probably wouldn't admit that, but I was there, And but when these curses of breaking the law came out, there was no way I could not say, damn. I know that. I felt that. I've been there.
Right.
And we know also in the scriptures, it also speaks about knowing another Israelite a lot of it has to do with the Israelite spirit. The spirit of an Israelite. And the spirit is basically the reaction of what you're hearing and what it makes you feel like. Like, damn, that was me. If you don't feel nothing from these curses, then you're probably not an Israelite.
Right.
95% chance you're not an Israelite. Or you just living on an island by yourself somewhere. Yeah. What was that movie with Tom Hanks?
Castaway.
Castaway. Because if you was a brother or sister and you an Israelite, I don't care if you went to college and got your degrees and this, that, and the third. Something has happened in your life to show you that you are in captivity and you have been oppressed. And all you got to do is read this Deuteronomy like we do, what we bringing out right here. And there's something on here you can relate to. Go ahead.
You will become a thing of horror, a byword, and an object of ridicule among all the peoples where the Lord will drive you.
And that's basically when they say a byword, that's all the different. How many different titles do we have as so-called? We got black people, African American.
Right.
We got Negro.
Constant changes every.
We have nigga.
Right.
Constant changes. We have so many different speaks. Native American. These are bywords. Cherokee, Arawak. These are all bywords. These are all bywords. These are not our true. That's not our true. These are words. These were definitions and titles put on us by our oppressors. Tahino, all that. You dig what I'm saying? So, go ahead, continue that.
You will sow much seed in the field, but you will harvest little, because locusts will devour it. You will plant vineyards and cultivate them, but you will not drink the wine or gather the grapes, because worms will eat them.
Hold that. Bring that up.
All right, this is Hosea chapter 4, verses 6. My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, because you have rejected knowledge.
Hold that. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. The knowledge of what? The laws and commandments of the Most High. You're destroyed. Everything we read in Deuteronomy right here, the curses are these things that lead to death. Boils and all that type of stuff. You ain't gonna live until you 95 with boils. 102. You're not gonna live. You're not living. Matter of fact, while you alive, that's not living.
Right.
You're dealing with anxiety. You're taking medicines. You don't want people. You don't want people to see it. So you insecurities and all type of stuff. So living with insecurities and not feeling like you can belong. And not feeling like you can belong, and not feeling like that you gotta hide this, that, and the third. That's it. That right there is also will lead to death. Stress is the highest cause of death because it leads you into where? It leads you into the hospitals where Satan rules. Leads you into the hospitals. And I'm not telling nobody to not take their medications and stop going to get checkups. I'm not saying that, Israel.
Right.
I'm just saying the scriptures tell us how to live.
Leviticus.
So we don't need that. And we was living way before that.
Right.
Okay? Alright? So continue on that one. No, I want you to continue. That was it for that one?
That was really it.
Okay. So go ahead on that. Go ahead on that. Deuteronomy.
You will have olive trees throughout your country, but you will not use the oil, because the olives will drop off. You will have sons and daughters, but you will not keep them, because they will go into captivity.
That's one thing I want to bring out real quick with the where they talk about the olive trees, right? So we all know about the Portugal and the place they were in history dealing with the Jews, the Sephardic Jews. So just to confirm a lot of the truth and history about the Portugal Jew, the Sephardic Jews, and the Jews in South America and all over. So in the scriptures it talks about certain trees, the olive tree being one, the fig tree, the grape tree. So when I was looking online, I was looking for some land for homesteading, and I was just looking, how people do it overseas. And when they were over there in Portugal, they had bought a country plot, and they were looking around. They started naming off the trees that were growing wild, and so they were naming. I kid you not. He said olive tree, fig tree. All the trees that is talking about in the scriptures is the trees that they were naming that grow wild, which confirmed the scriptures, the book, the writ, with the actual lands to show you the facts and the truth of the writ. That these lands that are historical lands of Sephardic Jews, Israelites, carry the same vegetation, wild vegetation that it speaks all through the scriptures about. Okay? All right, go ahead.
You will have sons and daughters, but you will not keep them, because they will go into captivity. Swarms of locusts will take over all your trees and the crops of your land. The foreigners who reside among you will rise above you higher and higher, but you will sink lower and lower. They will lend to you, but you will not lend to them. They will be the head, but you will be the tail. All these curses, they will pursue you and overtake you until you are destroyed, because you did not obey the Lord your God and observe the commands and decrees he gave you.
Oh, that's it. That's the magic verse. That's the magic verse. The decree is the laws. The laws. Law or die. Remember that joint that Puffy be having when he doing when they doing the voting, vote or die shirts.
Right.
Right. Remember them joints they wearing?
Yeah.
Vote or die. Well, if you can listen to Puffy silly ass,
Right.
okay, listen to the Most High. Law or die. Listen to God.
Right.
Listen to Yahweh. You can listen to Puffy. Listen to. Maybe you should listen to the Lord too. Like, I don't know when you weigh them out, but to some of y'all, He's your Lord. To some of y'all, He's your Lord.
Well, it says right here in Ezekiel, we don't listen.
Let me bring them out. Go ahead.
Ezekiel 3, verses 7. Yet the house of Israel will not be willing to listen to you, since they are not willing to listen to me. Surely the house of Israel is stubborn. So you already know.
We already know.
Rebellious,
and stubborn. So that rebellion and stubbornness for all these generations and generations, this is what these curses keep these curses alive. Keep these curses alive. It's law or die, y'all. We done tried all the other stuff. We done tried, and I don't mean no disrespect to none of this. to stuff that we done attempted, because it was our attempt for our liberty and our salvation, self salvation. We done tried Nation of Islam. We done tried Muslim. We done tried the Black Conscious Community. We done tried the Black Panthers. We done tried the NAACP. We done tried the Black Lives Matter.
Right.
We done tried the Black Wall Street. We took it to economics. Like, you know what? This is all about poverty.
Right.
Let's get rich, and then we can do us. We tried that. That didn't work. That whole get rich and do us didn't work. Didn't work. So I say this to say, all these things were absence of one thing: the highest authority. He didn't give us the authority to focus on all those other doctrines and all those other ways of becoming supreme and becoming the light of the planet. He didn't give us those other doctrines. He gave us the Torah. So that's what needs to be used. We tried everything else. There's nothing new under the sun. We tried it all. That's what y'all don't understand. We tried it all. I'm talking to all my girls in the strip clubs, all my dudes in the streets, all the Christian brothers, all the Muslim brothers, all the NOY brothers. We done tried it all. Some of y'all feel y'all made it because y'all good. But the rest of the planet is, the rest of the blacks around the world is suffering. The rest of the Israelites, blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, some of they suffering. So some of y'all, you know, and that's an individual thing. I get it. Y'all got your little group. But even y'all are submissive to the white man. So even if y'all got your little group, y'all still got to submit to the honky, to the devil. You still got to submit to the devil. So you still think that's still a false sense of power. Even if you got your organization popping and all that, you still got to submit to the devil. Why? Because your nation is not coming together. It's just you guys individually. And that's what the Most High, we know the Most High judged by nation. He deals with nation.
Right.
You know, the whole book, the whole scripture is about nations. You know, so we know that's how he speaks. That's how his language, which is why you see us form that right now. What you see all these different nations, because that's how he speaks. And whether we want to hearken to his voice or not, it's innate in us to follow a lot of our natures, and a lot of our natures come from him. So we create nations and all this type of stuff without even, you know, some of us without even understanding why we do this. You know, so we finish, bring out a little bit of my Deuteronomy on that. We're gonna make it a short night.
Okay. They will be a sign and a wonder to you and your descendants forever, because you did not serve the Lord your God joyfully and gladly in the time of prosperity. Therefore, in hunger and thirst, in nakedness and dire poverty, you will serve the enemies the Lord sends against you. He will put an iron yoke on your neck until he has destroyed you. The Lord will bring a nation against you from far away, from the ends of the earth, like an eagle swooping down, a nation whose language you will not understand.
Now, we all know that America, in all its alliances, most of its alliances use the eagle. We all know America uses the eagle as a symbol for its dominance, for its flag. And the scriptures say they'll come through like an eagle. And Babylon uses the eagle. Even the Egyptians use the eagle. So it's just like I said, it's certain things that only add up to me, that it's going to make me feel a certain way that it might not make you feel a certain way if you're not an Israelite. You know, you got a lot of tares in the community. You got, and it might not be important to some, but it is important to some, because a lot of these type of people bring down Israel. You know, tares is they'll have a black mother and a white father. You know what I'm saying? And they use a lot of those type of agents to, the Black Panthers, they used one to neutralize movements. they'll use them to get up in there, and they'll help them. They'll help them take down a black movement to uplift black people. Why do you think a black person would do that? Because their father is white. That's why they'll do something like that, and they don't see the principle of betrayal. That it doesn't hurt them. It doesn't make them feel like, whoa, because their father was white, so they never had to go through nothing to gain the wisdom that you need, to have the discernment that you need to see what's what and who's who. And most of us don't come up with these scriptures. See, one thing down south, y'all have a lot of this Bible stuff in your life, and y'all come up. But up north in different places, they don't grow up with the Bible. You have to find it. And then when you find it, you have to understand this whole new language. And once you understand this whole new language, you have to believe in the language. You know what I'm saying? And knowing the scriptures that talk about you is a great way to get you to understand to why you need to believe that this is what this is our history book. It's the history book of Negroes, Hispanics, Hispanics, Natives, Latinos, Afro-Latinos, Native Americans, all of whatever you want to call them. This is the book of us, our book, the Lost Tribes of Israel. We need to get back to the laws, or it's going to be straight death for us. It's not even nothing to talk about. It's laws of death. Nothing else is going to work but these scriptures. And all you women that think, all you women and men that think your business is going to work, and your rap career is going to work, and your and your MBA is going to work. Y'all seeing the Most High is giving y'all examples to show you, especially recently, that you can do all that. It's not if you get it, it's how you get it, according to the Most High. And He'll destroy you based on how you got your riches. You know what I mean? So, and He'll destroy you to make an example out of you for the rest. You know what I'm saying? So, on that note, law is death. All praise due to the Most High. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
We'll see you next week, family.
All right, to continue.